Reading is overrated in language learning. I love reading. I've read over 100 books, well over 100 books in English, around 100 books in French as well. And I didn't speak either of those languages well until I started doing specific speaking exercises. Specific exercises to work on my fluency, my accuracy, and my pronunciation. I reading did help, like vocabulary and grammar and all that. It did help me to achieve all that, but it didn't help me speak better. Reading is good to acquire more vocab in context, rather slowly, and it's mostly good to learn grammar in context, and it's good to review what you already know. You should definitely read. Reading is good. You learn stuff by reading. But as a language learning method, it's very overrated. People keep talking about read, 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 input, 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 the church of input, Steve Kaufman, this and that. The reality of it is, reading is very slow to acquire new words. Reading is good in the beginning. It's good in the beginning because you learn the most common words in context relatively easily. Because if they are really common, you keep seeing them in context over and over, so you learn them rather quickly. The problem is that to learn the less common words, yeah, because they are much less frequent, you need to do a lot more reading to encounter them often enough or enough times eventually to remember them, because you need to see each word in context 10 or 12 times at least to remember it. So yeah, you need a lot, truly monstrous amounts of reading if you want to learn enough vocabulary. So it's not great for vocabulary acquisition. It's also not great for speaking. Like I said earlier, I read massive amounts of content in English and later also in French and in German and also in other languages, but nowhere near as much. Obviously, English is the language I've read the most, but also French and German. I've read more books in French than most people, period, in their own language. But until I started working on my speaking with specific exercises, yeah, I know the words, but I wouldn't be able to think of them fast enough, and pronunciation would be really weird, and also, yeah, I wouldn't sound like a normal person when speaking, because written language is not the same as spoken language. Yeah, well, the words are the same, the grammar is usually the same, but even the words, they're not always the same. Sometimes words change. People use different words in casual conversation than they do in written language, right? But it's not the same. You need to, if you want to get good at speaking, you need to practice speaking. So reading is good. You should read, yeah, but reading is not the solution to everything. And neither is listening or watching videos or anything like that. It's very slow. It's the lazy way to learn languages. But if you want to get good at speaking, you need to practice speaking. You need to do specific exercises to get good at pronunciation, improve your fluency, and find where you're making your mistakes and fix them. Yeah, and also learn more vocabulary, because otherwise, if you only count on reading, it's going to take forever to learn enough vocabulary. So yeah, reading good, but not that great.